After I blow up, act like I don't know you. Euphoria, I'm drowning in euphoria. Drowning in euphoria. Drowning in euphoria.
If there is one thing I noticed within the art community, it's artists jumping to conclusions on whether or not an image is a racist stereotype or caricature. I'm no stranger when it comes to the race debates, and I have frequently discussed race-related issues on my channel, but I wanted to take a deeper dive into the discussion of whether or not Sister Krone's design is a racist stereotype, or if people are throwing it out of proportion due to their own ignorance. For some time now, there has been a common opinion being echoed around about Sister Krone's design and how similar it is to the mammy stereotype. People will proclaim that the design makes them uncomfortable because of the racist undertones. Now personally, I do not find her design to be a stereotype, nor do I find it to be uncomfortable. I think it's more racist, mostly ignorant, but still underliningly racist, to assume that this character is in fact a stereotype of the mammy. I will explain why I feel that way, of course, but first I'd like to talk more about the stereotype. The mammy stereotype originated in America around the early 1700s to the late 1800s, and during this time, African American women would often tend to groom the children of their slave masters or taking upon the role of a caregiver. These women were often referred to as mammies. These women were depicted within a cartoonish and comical light. They were perceived as loud, sassy, and overweight women, which in turn became the poster image for the mammy stereotype, to later be used to mock African American women, caregivers, and nurses. A quick but simple example is the depiction of Aunt Jemima. While this depiction seems harmless at first, the racist undertones of Aunt Jemima are hard to ignore when it is indeed a stereotype of African American women. Now before, I said that these people who assume that Sister Krone is a caricature are underliningly racist themselves, and my reasoning for that is very simple. It's because she does not fit within the mold to be called a mammy. It's racist to assume that every African American caregiver in the media is a mammy. If the intention is not directly implied, then the assumption is out of ignorance and therefore is racist by nature. Because so many people have echoed this opinion, a lot of other people have adapted it without knowing how ignorant they look and sound as a person of color and an ally to people of color. So the first thing that we have to debunk is the notion that Sister Krone's design is similar to the mammy caricature. And to know that, we have to know the characteristics of the mammy stereotype. So according to history, the mammy stereotype consists of 10 key characteristics. Number 1, large African American woman. Number 2, dressed in bright or bold colors, sometimes both. Number 3, seen with a rag on her head. Number 4, they are typically good-natured. Number 5, often motherly. Number 6, showcasing a broad smile on her face. Number 7, loud and blunt, while also occasionally sassing people as a way to get them to behave. Number 8, extremely large lips. Number 9, kinky hair. Number 10, overweight. Now, let's do a quick comparison of Sister Krone and whether or not she resembles the caricature and the characteristics of this racist depiction. Number 1, she is in fact a large African American woman, so that checks off. Number 2, she does not wear bright or bold clothing. The uniform within the show is actually tame in comparison to the actual racist caricature. Number 3, she's never seen with a rag on her head, mostly because it's not a part of the uniform itself. Number 4, she is not typically good-natured, and in fact, within the show, she is shown to be selfish, self-centered, and only care about her position as a mother. Number 5, she is not motherly at all. While Sister Krone is training to be a mother, it's by force and not of her own good grace. To be motherly, you have to want to do it, in my opinion. And the only time that she shows even an inkling of appreciation or care for the children's well-being is when it comes to her downfall and her death, and to spite the people who killed her, she gave those children information to escape. I don't think that's motherly. I think that's selfish. Number 6, she does showcase a broad smile within the show, but so does every other fucking adult within the cast. Number 7, she is loud and she is blunt within the show, but not in the way that is similar to the caricature or to black women for that matter. Also, she is often blunt behind closed doors and never really saying what's on her mind until she is alone, which gives her no room to sass people at all. Number 8, She does in fact have big lips, but not extremely over-exaggerated large lips. Africans and African Americans, their lips by nature are big. We cannot help that one of our key features is still being used as a weapon against us. Kinky hair. Again, she does have kinky hair, which again is another feature African Americans cannot necessarily control. But we cannot help that one of our key features is still being used as a weapon against us. Number 10. She's not overweight. If anything, all of the caretakers within this film and within the manga so far as I've seen have been of an athletic build, mostly due to all the training that they receive. But when you line up all these characteristics, you'll see that there are only like 3 to 4 characteristics that actually stick and that people attach to. And those are her skin tone, her size, her lips, and her kinky hair. Other than that, she does not fit the caricature in its entirety. So basically, people are saying Sister Krone is a mammy because she's a large black woman with big lips and kinky hair. This is why I say that it has racist undertones. Also, many people have issue with the fact that Sister Krone is in somewhat of a different style than the rest of the cast. Often, if the character features are purposely made different from another, it's usually to indicate their race, ethnicity, or gender. It's racist to assume Krone is a mammy because you are automatically putting all depictions of black caregivers and nannies into a box. The reason the characters don't look similar is because she's black. That's it. That's the tweet. So therefore, she will have black features. Therefore, she will look different from the rest of the cast. The features that are showcased on Krone are clear indications that she is of black descent. There are a lot of characters with brown skin, just like Krone, but they don't look similar because they are not of a similar race. Adding people's actual features, eye shapes, and facial indicators that are specifically unique to them is a good thing in animation. It pushes for diversity, and it removes those negative depictions in the first place for those affected by others' negative depictions of their race, especially for those who yearn for representation and diversity such as myself and such as you. For example, Don, one of the children in the farm. When you are trying to indicate that someone is of another race, especially without spelling it out for the fucking audience, you have to give them those features in order for them to be recognized not only by their race, but by other races as well. Don does not look like Krone because Don isn't a black boy. He's a brown-skinned boy. He has straight hair as a brown-skinned boy, and this is probably due to the fact that he is of Indian, Pakistani, or Southeast Asian descent. It's much more visually appealing to have the show in that style because it shows an accurate representation of black features, not only in a positive light, but that isn't making fun of people of color or mocking them for those said features. I like that Sister Krone is clearly different from the others. I like that she looks like a black woman. I like that she looks like me and other people I know with my features. I like that we share similar features. She's not going to completely look like me because I'm a mixed black woman, but at least she looks somewhat like me. The only people who find this uncomfortable are people who are not used to having black people in their media and who are not black themselves, or who are other people of color who are not educated. People will see only a few characteristics of a depiction and will jump to the conclusion that that depiction is racist. It feels similar to when CreepShowArt claimed that an artist was racist because they drew black features, and then the reason it only felt racist in that moment is because the caricature itself was stylized and in a cartoonized style, which is one of the methods used in the past in order to create these negative depictions and assumptions about black people in the first place. So I can understand why CreepShow jumped to that conclusion, but it's racist for doing so, which is another feature of art that is often taken out of proportion in these situations. What frustrates me the most is that we have artists with big followings going along with this stupid fucking narrative that Sister Krone's design is a racist caricature. And because of this and because of people's virtue signaling, we have big artists taking away black features from black characters and changing them to be similar to white or white passing characters within the show in order to fit the style and in order to fit the narrative. This is whitewashing, and no one's calling it out because of the racist undertones of Sister Krone's design. While it's not full-on whitewashing, I've seen people change the size of Krone's nose or get rid of it completely and change the curl pattern of her hair and the texture of her hair, and they change it to what they think black features should be depicted as when there are barely any undertones to begin with. It's only 3 to 4 to be exact. It just feels like these people are basically saying that features that we have naturally are offensive and should be removed because they don't fit within the lines of the show. And I'd rather have a show with multiple art style changes that showcase the features of all people than to have a show that changes one character just because she was too black to fit in the show. It's insulting to see people basically call me and other black people's features unfitting for a show when we can't do anything about it. That's just how we were built at the end of the day. So here's a newsflash for anyone looking to depict black people. We have big lip, we have kinky hair, and our skin tone can go from fair to midnight depending on if you are mixed. Sometimes we have over the top and braggadocious personalities. But you have to understand that we've had years of people taking our characteristic features and mannerisms, making a complete mockery out of us. Please do not put us in a box like you're doing so by telling us that Sister Krone is a caricature when she's not. You're putting us in a box like so many others did before you. Sister Krone is not a mammy. It's because she is clearly black and that you associate blackness with slavery, and that's why you find the imagery offensive. Instead of changing or fixing what didn't need to be fucking fixed in the first place, we should actually focus on whether or not these racist depictions are actually racist. You need to dig deeper into the matter instead of allowing yourself to be herd along like the little sheep you are. When you make the assumption that Sister Krone is a mammy, you are one of the people participating in perceived racism, or also known as perceived discrimination. And it's when someone is treated unfairly or wrongly due to the assumption of other individuals based solely on the indicator of one's race. For example, a white woman clutching her purse as a black man enters an elevator. She does this because of all the negative propaganda surrounding black people. In this scenario, the white woman is showcasing perceived racism because she assumed that because he is black, then that she will surely be robbed by him and or assaulted. It is the preconceived notion that we are dangerous people that make this action racist. You are making racial bias assumptions based on your own ignorance or experience. And the same can be said here in this instance because Sister Krone is a caregiver. She's African American with big lips and kinky hair. What you make is the preconceived assumption that she is similar to the mammy stereotype because you have seen similar depictions of it and you can make the comparison. But that's all that this is. A comparison. When you make claims like this, you also make it hard on the artist who created these types of depictions because people will accuse this artist of being insensitive, racist, and tone deaf when one, they might not even know anything about the history of slavery or America for that matter, or how harmful the depiction is, because unfortunately during these times other countries use these depictions as actual representations of our people without knowing the stipulations of the imagery and how harmful it was. So it's no surprise that when others depict African and African American people, it tends to look a little stereotypical and like a caricature because that's all the imagery we have. We're trying to change it and you guys won't even let us change it because you're too worried about it being fucking offensive. Also, number two, you don't know the intentions of the artist, so to make that assumption that they know what they're doing or they're pretending to be ignorant is not in good faith, and you know that. So I'm basically here to ask that people stop being so misinformed on the matter. Don't just call something racist for the sake of it. You need to look deeper into the claims that you're making rather than going along with the flow. Because at the end of the day, you might be going against your morals and your values and not even know it due to your own fucking ignorance. And it's okay to not know things. It's okay to be ignorant. But what is not okay is letting things like this fester and accumulate into such a clusterfuck that no one knows what anything means anymore. We have to be better. We have to do better, and we don't repeat the cycle. Stop it. Do better. Be better. Anyways, thank you so much for watching the video. If you like the video, leave a like. If you don't like the video, dislike the video. If you disagree with anything that I said, then comment down below. If you agree with anything I said, then let me know how you feel. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao ne.
I'm drowning in euphoria, drowning in euphoria, euphoria.